How y'all doing today? I want to drop in and give y'all a quick little video, and today I want to talk about are jobs as bad as social media makes it seem. And it seems like over the past few years, it's been an overemphasis on entrepreneurship in our community, to the point where I'm seeing like sometimes people that have businesses and whatnot, they're sort of kind of bashing people that work jobs and employees. Like, if you work a job, you're a slave, and you gotta be your own boss, And I just want to talk about that today. And I'll say the first thing is I support entrepreneurship 100%. I think we need entrepreneurship. We need business as America. Like, if you look at America with all these big corporations, and America is essentially a business. Like, a lot of these corporations, they start out as small business, so it's needed, But at the same time, we need employees within those businesses. So I think we gotta be careful with what we're saying sometimes as business owners. And I had seen a statistic where it says like black businesses, 96% of them have no employees. So I thought that was interesting, and that's something we should talk about as well. But me personally, my lived life experience, I've never been a full-time business owner, but I have been, like, I guess you could say self-employed, just doing various things. But I've also been an employee for I guess you could say most of my working life. And being honest, I've enjoyed my job. So I think we should go ahead and get into it. And I guess that's my first question: of if you work a job, do you like your job? And I guess I could say, can you tolerate it? Because me personally, I ain't never had a job where it's like every day I wake up I'm like SpongeBob and I'm excited to go to work. I haven't had that yet. But for the most part, all my jobs, I can wake up and I like what I do for the most part. Like being around my employees, and not my employees, like being around my coworkers, and it's been cool. Like, you making money, but at the same time you having a good time. So I think that's important. And if you're a person where you say you hate your job, that's a conversation that needs to be had, like possibly looking for another job, or it might be time to hop into entrepreneurship and take that risk. And with me saying that, it's shit in every job. I learned it at an early age, and being a business owner as well. And what I mean by that is there's no job, there's no business on earth that's perfect. Like, you have adversity, you have things that you're gonna have to deal with that you don't like in every job. But the main thing is like, does the good outweigh the bad? If you like I said, if you're in it where you literally hate going to work every day, we might have to look at your situation. But it's one of these things where every job, there has to be a job out there where you can tolerate it and the good is outweighing the bad. And it's not really a question, but a statement of, I think you could build real wealth through a job. If you look at statistically, people that are entrepreneurs usually make more money than workers or people that are employees, but it's still a lot of money to be made through a job, and a lot of real wealth that could be made through a job. And we're gonna talk about the pros and cons today, but there's a lot of pros with working a job when you compare it to being a full-time business owner. So we have, your health insurance, your retirement plans. Typically with a job, it's more stable, predictable income, and also with a job, it's usually less stress than for you not being the boss and having to deal with all the problems. Usually it's somebody above you that can deal with that. So sometimes working a job is less stress. And a lot of times I see with the business owners, like, I make my own schedule, but with jobs I've worked, I can make my own schedule. Like the job I currently work, I 100% make my own schedule, like when I'm off and things of that nature. So you got those with jobs as well. And I look at my stepdad as an example. He has 3 little kids, so that's a prime example of, he has a job and he's a business owner, and the health insurance through his job it saves him so much money compared to if he was a full-time business owner and had to pay that out of pocket. But like I said, I still support entrepreneurship 1,000%. Like I said, both have pros and cons, and you could do both. I seen a video where it was talking about a jobpreneur, and if you're at a point where you say you have your 9 to 5 and you're looking at going into business or going to be an entrepreneur, just making sure we're doing it the right way. And when I say that, it's like, a lot of times I see people have unrealistic expectations when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I think social media is a big part in that. For one, I think social media is a part of why people don't like their jobs. Like, people looking all day and seeing the highlight reels of being a business owner, but they're not seeing the real. And being honest, when you're a business owner, it can get really, really stressful, and it can get really, really hard. And on social media, people don't portray that part. And I'm just being honest, it's not easy, you know. Hold on, y'all, give me 1 second. Most people on social media are not gonna say, hey, my business hasn't been profitable for 3 months and I'm struggling. Like, they're not gonna say that on social media. You're only gonna see the highlights. But that's where I come to, like, okay, you working your job and you ready to start a business. You know what I'm gonna always say? Like, this is what I've seen is, like, people say, hey, I'm about to quit my job and go all in on my business, but they have no money saved. So, you know, I probably said this in every video, but you have to, well, you don't have to, but it's easier to transition from a job to a business when you have money saved, you have money put aside. It makes that transition a lot more smoother because you have something to fall back on. Because it's one of these things where, like, when you start a business, it might not be where it just pop right there. So let's say you working your job and your bills are $3,000 a month and you don't have no money saved. You just plan out quit your job and you go start your business, and your business is not making no money yet. Now you in the hole. Now you got it. Now you struggling. Now you know, so making sure you have some money saved. I'm gonna say that probably every video, because I think money saved, it gives you that freedom, that independence, because now you can sort of kind of make your own decisions and do life on your own terms. And I'm gonna show you an example. Where we at? So we got, okay, and this is, okay, let's say a person has $5,000 a month in expenses. When we're talking about bills, we're talking about, you know, how much they spend a month. So that comes out to $60,000 in a year that they spend. Let's say that person has $60,000 saved. Essentially, they have a year's worth of freedom. And it's not gonna be one of these things where, excuse me, it's not gonna be one of these things where they just where they just quit working for a whole year and just let that whole $60,000 run out. But they have that freedom to. But let's be more realistic. Let's say if you look at the times we're in, like, they lose their job, and that's realistic. Like, with all the things that's going on in the world, let's say they lose their job. If they have $60,000 saved and their expenses $5,000 a month, okay, now it's not a panic of, oh my God, I gotta worry about paying rent next month. I got money saved, I can chill, let me breathe, let me recalibrate, okay, let me go look for another job, you know? Or it might be with our first example of where we're saying we're gonna go out and go start our business. So if we have $60,000 saved, our expenses are $5,000 a month, I have a good bit of months before I have to worry about going back on E and worry about paying bills. I can let my business build. I can get it off the ground, you know? So I'm going to keep saying the same thing. Having money saved is really, really essential. It gives you that freedom. It gives you that independence to do what you want, you know? You're not tied to a job because you have money, essentially. Now, let's say if their expenses were, instead of $5,000 a month, let's say their expenses was $2,000 a month. So instead of having a year's worth of freedom, now we have 2+ years, because $2,000 a month comes out to $24,000 a year in expenses. So they have even more freedom to play with, and they have even more, you know, you could think even clearly. That's what I be talking about when I'm talking about survival mode and person living check to check. They can't think. They got to think next month about how I'm going to pay rent. They can't think months and months ahead or years ahead, because it's like we have to, how am I gonna pay my rent next month? So that's why I be talking about we had to get out survival mode. We had to get out that cycle. The more money you have saved combined with the lower your expenses equals the more freedom you have. I'm gonna say that one more time. The more money you have saved combined with the lower your expenses equals the more freedom you have. So basically I'm saying, save some money. It gives you that ability to do what you want out here. So we have it. Let me see what we're talking about now. Okay, cool. So let's say you had your 9 to 5. What's gonna really separate you from everybody is what you're doing from 5 to 9 or 5 to 10, like when you get off work. You know, if it's where you just come home every day, you watch Netflix every day, you playing the game every day, you're not doing nothing productive for yourself, for your future, essentially it's like, you know, so if you want to you get out your 9 to 5, like let's say you don't want to work no more, or you want to be a business owner, you're going to have to build that on the side of your 9 to 5. So when you get off work, you're going to have to start building, you know. It ain't one of these things where it's magically going to happen. But like I said, you could do both. So you work your 9 to 5. When you get off, you go home, you work on building your business. And with that, it might take time. It might take a couple years before you can fully leave your job if that's what you want to do. But I wouldn't recommend just leaving your job and you don't have money saved, you don't have a plan as far as your business. As you can see, I'm more of a conservative person. And I probably wouldn't leave my job until I'm making enough in my business where it's comfortable. I might not be making as much as I was making in my job, but can I cover my bills, and do I have money saved? And one other thing I want to emphasize is when you are a business owner, you do have that ultimate freedom of doing what you want. You're gonna want to get up and work because it's yours. You know, you just gonna get that extra because it's like it's your thing. But one thing I say is, do not suffocate your business when you first quit your job, because it goes back to the example of you don't have no money saved. So let's say your bills are $3,000 a month, and you're making $3,000 a month profit out your business. Typically, when you first start a business, you want to be reinvesting your profits back into your business so you can grow, whether it be putting money into marketing, whether it be buying nicer equipment, nicer supplies, things of that nature. So if you're just taking all your profit from your business, just spending it back to you, and you're not reinvesting none of it into your business, you sort of kind of suffocate your business. I see that a lot. So sometimes it's better to work your job and build your business, because you want to be able to reinvest profits back into your business so it can continue to grow. But like I said, I support both. We need entrepreneurs and we need employers within those businesses. So you can do both out here. And when you're a business owner, you have that ultimate freedom. You have that ultimate, it's yours. You know, that's like an ultimate flex. But you also, I want people to be aware, you have to know what comes with that. It's a lot. It's real hard. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot to build. But a lot of times it's worth it. And I just want us to realize that, because a lot of times on social media, it's this skewed view on business. Like, it just makes it seem easier than it is, and it's not. And for anybody, whether you have a business or you're wanting to think about going into entrepreneurship, I definitely recommend this book, The E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. Because it's giving you the real. Like, online, on social media, you're not going to see that most small businesses don't work out. That's just 1,000% fact. But when you know that, you're going to go into your business knowing you're going to go even harder, because you want your business to be the ones that do work. So, you know, like I said today, we talked about having our jobs that bad as people make them seem. And in my opinion, they're not. And I also talked about, like, how to, if you are considering entrepreneurship or you ready to start your business, talked about how to transition and doing it the right way. If y'all have any questions, please reach out. Y'all stay blessed.